What's up, Daniel? First man in. Spilled my drink. First thing in the shop today. Is that a good omen or a bad omen? Maybe I'll get more views for spilling my drink. That's why I don't keep it on this table usually. Someone turned that into a highlighted clip. Chardonnay, welcome everybody to Dad's Workshop, where I just sharpened my chisels. I'm not going to do it on the live today because I want to make sure that I'm cutting correctly into this wood. Hope everybody's had a great day. I know I have. Yeah, I would sing it, but they don't pay me. So if they want to pay me here, I'll be singing the Ace song all the time. Gotta make a living though. That's good. I'm glad today's been good. Let me make sure I'm in the camera here. Doing kind of the same stuff as we were doing. It's going to get interesting when we start cutting the mortises for these tenons and the bedposts. Right now, I'm making all of the tie beams, so it's not, you know, it's, I mean, a lot of this woodwork is tedious. So what we do is hang out and do woodwork here at Dad's Workshop, and we don't worry about what's boring. We just talk about stuff. You know, it makes the time go by when you're working on something, right? No, I don't know how to crochet or knit or any of that, but I always thought it was cool that people, you know, they would crochet and they would knit, and they would be able to keep work. They would be able to keep a conversation going too at the same time. Oh, you weren't in yesterday, Daniel, so you know you had to be here on time today, man. That unexcused absence, you know, we can't be playing with that unexcused absences. Yep, unexcused absences, can't do that. Heather, boot him, give him a 10-minute timeout for his unexcused. No, don't do it, don't do that. Don't give him a 10-minute timeout. Definitely, if the cat guy comes in, we'll give him a 10-minute timeout. I have figured out what I'm going to use this bench fights for first. That's going to be important, and that's going to be the braces. Some people call them knee braces on the bed structure. I'm going to put the braces in this vise when I work them. It's going to make them get. I'm going to be able to carve 360 degrees. It's going to be much better that way. APB, yeah, yeah, man. APB. Charnay, without telling me the exact name of the school, because I don't want you to do that. I wouldn't want you to put yourself out there like that. Was it the elementary school, the middle school, or the high school that you worked at? Ooh, these feel good. Okay. That gives me a bit of the time period too, because they closed one of those. So, yeah. And when they closed that school, they brought that person over to literally that person over to our school. So that wasn't the whole reason I left. I could say it's because of one person, but it wasn't. Anyways, I'm gonna stay off a negative subject matter and talk about woodwork and other stuff that you all are interested in. A little bit worried about my viewership. It's kind of slow for my internet signal being as good as it is right now. I feel like YouTube is kind of like screwing me right now. The last couple of days, the views have been really pitiful. And don't try to tell me it's because the Pope or whatever. Maybe my signal's not as good. Let me go check and see if my internet, because on my phone it looks good here. Oh, okay. Well, that could be my phone and not the feedback on the mic. Check, check, check. I set the mic in a different setting. Tell me if it's different like now, because there's several settings and I don't have the book. Can you all hear me well right now? Yeah, I got 5 bars on there, so it's just slow. That's it. Echoey, okay. How about now? Oh, reverb. That's probably what that setting is then. How's this one? That's probably behind. So I did try the next setting. Let me know what you think about this setting, and then I'll change it if I need to. Well, yeah, I'm standing over on the next to the fan, but let me go stand on the workbench side. Oh, I like that picture there, that thumbnail that you put on there. That's pretty sexy. I want to say it's cooler today because of that rain we got last night here. I mean, we're talking about a regional difference though, potentially microclimates and all that. Yeah, we got some rain last night. It kind of cooled the air off. You know what I do when my viewership gets low like this? I usually do zoom. I zoom in and do close-ups, and that helps a little bit. So yeah, we're just for anyone who's tuning in and anyone who's checking this out recorded. I'm going to carve this bunk bed tenon, but I'm going to zoom in on it because that tends to bring in some viewers. Let's go ahead and do that, and then you all can just chat with me as we do that. Sometimes that helps, sometimes it doesn't. Don't know if you don't try though. You can see I've cut these horizontal cuts or cross cuts along the line here. So we have several cross cuts going down to a cut line. You can see some glue in there too. When we plane this, most of that glue is going to disappear or not be as obvious. So what we're working on is just chiseling those out. And hopefully that close-up is good enough detail to provide some value to this video. I always try to provide the viewers with value. Daniel, shout out Mike is making stuff. Big shout out Chardonnay. Daniel was the first person here today, but he was not here yesterday, so we're not going to give him too much credit because it was out of guilt. Dude, that's the way I used to do all my online classes too. I would do all the work up front. Yeah, my friend today told me that he closed like $60,000 of sales on the floor. I'm like, wow, people are doing well. That's good. I'm glad people are making money. I like to see people doing well. I'm taking this very slow so that I don't cut bad mortises out here and bad tenons out. Yeah, we're ChatGPT fans. We're AI fans here. We use it for everything. AI is pretty amazing. Don't tell me I'm frozen up there. All right. And I did put stop cuts all around, I believe, on this piece. Let me feel this side here. No, I'm not sure I did there, actually. No, I did. You want to put that so you don't blow out past that line. You'll find out the wrong way. See, and it's like do it wrong. Do it right a million times, and you can still do it wrong once and destroy your entire piece. I wouldn't say it's as serious as like mountain climbing without ropes, but you can do it right a bunch of times and do it wrong and mess your whole workpiece up. So everything's slow, so you don't make those mistakes. Yeah, how you prompt the AI is going to be big in what kind of results you get. And the AI is really as smart as you let it be. It can actually formulate opinions now. It's pretty interesting, and so it's keeping up with stuff well. I'll tell you that. And now there's there's AI for almost everything, and with the code writers and technical people being even more talented now, it's going to get to a level where, I mean, it's obviously, it's one of those things where you can do without it, but all you're doing is cheating yourself. I'm gonna not go any closer to that line there. A couple months ago, I was doing this piece on this hijacking, and I put in a prompt into the AI, a very specific prompt, and it found articles and data that I couldn't find. And then I went back a week later and put the same prompts in, and it told me that it couldn't look up the incident because it was a violent incident or something. They had changed the rules and made the AI dumber, basically, which I thought was crazy. That may have been Leonardo, though. I don't know if that was ChatGPT. It was one of the other AI systems, I believe. That's cool, man. You put you're on the Discord, right, Mike? Put that stuff up on the Discord too if you're on there. If not, join the Discord so that you can like brag about this stuff. We're here to brag to each other, We're that kind of platform. Sometimes people don't want to listen to us about our projects. So that's what we're here for. We want to listen to each other about our projects. So we're here, and that's why we have the Discord. So we can brag to each other who care about it, rather than a bunch of people who would rather talk about work, which I can't stand. Man, Easter. Shout out to any family members who happen to be on right now, but they have to notice I stay out of most conversations, and that is because they are always about work. Everybody wants to talk about their work, dude. They already own like half your life. Why do you need to talk about it? Yeah, I mean, AI may actually be a more unbiased source of information about yourself too. So yeah, I mean, because you're going to look at yourself with somewhat of a bias. You have, feelings about yourself, and you may feel badly about some things, or you may feel really good about some things you shouldn't. AI is probably going to be more honest with you if you're providing AI with information. They can give you an assessment of kind of, what kind of a person you are. I don't know if they can judge the quality unless you tell them your entire life story. I have not seen the Minecraft movie yet. I was talking to Heather about it yesterday. I did mention that Chardonnay that you brought it up on the live stream. I can see there's probably a knot in here just by the way that broke away on the grain. It doesn't feel like it yet. See, once you've got it, you've got the wood broken. You've worked the wood to the weakness to your advantage here, like we always are talking about, using the weakness of the wood to your advantage and the strength of the wood to your advantage when you're building your piece. You know, when I sleep through things, for what it's worth, that doesn't mean I don't like it, but you know, like sometimes I like to fall asleep on the last episode of the show so I can go back and rewatch the entire episode. A little bit of a imperfection there. Oh, okay. If Heather, if you get a minute, I don't know if you're still at work right now. If you can throw an updated Discord invitation link on there, they do. I thought I made one that was permanent, but yeah, sometimes those do expire. And somebody always asks me whether my tools are sharp. I can tell you my tools are sharp today. I sharpened them before the live stream, so these are pretty sharp. Everything I'm using today, I've honed it for today's live stream. Thank you, Miss Heather. Appreciate that. Yeah, there's like a little divot right here. I don't love that. DIY Woodmaster, welcome. Thank you, appreciate it. Yeah, we're working on a bunk bed here with these are going to be through tenons, through mortises. So, trying to make sure they get fairly even. You know, everything's not beautiful because we use conventional lumber here. So this is two 2x4s joined together to make a 4x4. Obviously, we know 2x4s are not actually 2x4 in dimension. But appreciate you being here, DIY Woodmaster. Shout out. Yeah, I would love to add you as a moderator. Stick around, dude, you know. Inshallah, you mean? Hopefully, or please. We would love to do that. Yeah, it's straight for now though, man. I got a couple people working on it, but I'd love to have you around, and of course, you know, that's always a possibility when we get to know each other. But appreciate you being here, man. Man or woman. Don't know if DIY Woodmaster's a man or a woman. I don't need to worry about the shoulder until I get back to the actual shoulder. I don't like that. Kiln dried wood though just has a certain, you know, certain like ultra dryness, like a stem that snaps, you know. It's not necessarily good for the stem to be that dry. They say for wood like 11 to 14% moisture content, depending on the type of wood. If I could only use one tool for woodworking, I would probably have to say, and you'll never see me use it on here, it's gonna be like a hatchet, because you can use a hatchet like a chisel. You can hew off wood with a hatchet. If you need to make like you know, like a log into something that you can build a dwelling in. So a hatchet would be the #1 woodworking tool because it's versatile. It's not too big. If I was stuck out in the woods and you gave me one tool, it's going to be a sharp hatchet. Like I want a hatchet. And I have a very special hatchet here. I actually haven't sharpened it in a long time. It needs to be sharpened, but it's a hewing hatchet. So it's actually meant for debarking wood and stuff. But it's what caught my eye about it was the steel quality. I can almost tell when tools are made with a good quality steel, and it's old and antique. So it would be a hatchet. Chardonnay. Great question. Good. Glad you got in the Discord, Mike. Yeah, no one's really reading into that last one, man. You know, get your like in the Discord. It's fine. My next short is going to be shoveling wood chips off the floor in here. I might have to start streaming on Thursdays and Fridays here soon, guys. Gotta figure out what days are going to grab people, because whatever is happening now, y'all know this ain't it here. But we'll keep at it. We're not going to give up. I just may have to work a little harder at this. Not this wood, but at this this idea, because seems like YouTube has done some things that are punitive towards us new creators or people on the verge of monetization, right? They made it harder. The shorts views don't count the same way, you know. Seems like stuff that benefits their stalwarts, the old school people, and hurts us. I'm just, you know, I get a little woozy when it's been like 3 days in a week and I'm really pulling like, you know, 6, 7, 8 views. I know better than that. That's like what I got when I did my first live streams on the elliptical. So I know this is not it. I got to tweak something. I'm not going to blame YouTube yet. It's probably something I'm doing. Even that unboxing, I was like, man, this should have a lot of people in. I was kind of surprised because people love to see stuff unboxed. Anyways, not to be negative, we're going to stay positive here. Slow day is a slow day, and we just keep moving and keep doing the same thing we're doing. You know, we don't quit because of that. We don't get discouraged. We don't get negative. You know how it is, guys. All right, I'm going to back the camera up because that made little to no difference, but it did provide some value to the video. Hopefully people, if they watch the video, will get a little more chiseling technique from that. Tends to be that towards the shoulder, it usually you haven't chiseled out as much. So that's the reason you use this technique where you come chisel down like this, and then basically pull with the what do you call it, the sole plate of the bottom sole of the chisel is what you're pulling down. That's sharp also. So to get some of that out, you can use this technique here, which is basically like you're digging down and pulling and using the, generally it's not good though if you want a sharp shoulder, you don't want to push too hard against it. Some people will do this. They'll take a shim like, and I'll just take a piece of scrap wood here. They'll put a shim against it. So they'll do like this so they don't damage their shoulder while they're doing this, because you could dent it in the shoulder and you don't want to do that. Well, I actually am living the dream, man. I would say for me, you know, I have people who are supporting me, doing exactly what I want to do and nothing else. I mean, that is the dream. What else could you want? Quit your job and not really be making money, but people to be supporting you because they know you got it. You got something. You got a talent or something you could use. So. I need to go back. So Ruiz is here. Welcome, Ruiz, friend of the program. And then Ruiz said, "How we doing? We're doing great, man. Doing great, Ruiz. How you doing?" No, did he? What did Mike say? Are you guys check? Mike is already paranoid about the words that he says. Don't make him more paranoid. I am so confused. I like how the chat is way beyond out of my control. That's fine. You all well-oiled machine, you folks. So it's the opposite of when I was a school teacher. Chat it up. You know what I mean? Yes. So yeah, Heather was asking about did you watch the Wild game last night? I'm sure you didn't, right? I'm like, who cares? Who actually thought they were going to win? I checked it out. Was kind of pleasantly surprised by my Wild. I'm gonna flip this thing over. Let me check and see if I got stop cuts on this side. I do not. All right, I need to make stop cuts right here. Now it's funny because the edge of this is not square, so then when you're running a marking gauge against it, it's not giving you the true 90-degree angle. So what I really need to do here, just to double check, is I know the edge is square because I cut these with my beam saw with a jig set up. That seems about right. Sorry if I hit the microphone, people. I don't love that. I'll take whatever. Should be about. Yeah, that's about right. This is tricky because the edge of the wood, like I said, is not square. So I'm trying to get a reference edge here to make sure my line is straight all the way, because I don't want to put stop cuts in the wrong spot here. I mean, is salt considered a spice? Chardonnay said if you could only use one spice for the rest of your life, what would it be? And I have to know, does salt count as a spice? Because salt is kind of like a necessity. It's more of a staple than a spice. Yeah, I'm with him, man. It's going to be black pepper most likely because you need that in everything. How about 2? If I could have 2, it's going to be black pepper, assuming salt is not one. It's going to be black pepper and cilantro. I love cilantro. Although I will tell you, it has affected my love for cilantro that I found out that stink bugs smell like cilantro when you kill them. That has affected my love for cilantro somewhat. It's kind of in negatively. So there may come a time where I don't like cilantro anymore because of that. These stink bugs are just out of control. There we go. Paprika. I mean, that's one I use a lot, but I don't think I'm going to put it like, that's like a pretty much everyday spice for me, but it's salt, pepper, then garlic, you know, probably salt, pepper, garlic, cilantro or coriander, then paprika. What's the other one that's like paprika? Cayenne. Yeah, you got to have garlic. You got to have onions. That's a staple. That's like a super important ingredient. Even people who say they don't like them, if they took the onion out of their favorite snack food or whatever, they would hate it. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing about it. It's a good thing you're not Jewish because you can't have a cheeseburger if you're Jewish. You know, that whole can't mix meat and dairy thing. Not kosher. Just double checking I got a stop cut here. It doesn't look like I do. Can you guys see that? No, you can't. It's out of the frame. Let me scoot this just a little bit this way here. Yeah. Garlic and onions, man, really, really important to the flavors in food. So it's tough, though. You know, a lot of, you know, the survival people, you get hungry enough, just the taste of meat or like the taste of fats in general just make you go crazy because they hit your brain. You know, your brain has these receptors for fats, especially if you're starving, you know. That's true. Everything is, well, not really. God's not closing his eyes, dude. Yahweh is not. Omniscient, right? So It's not getting past the all-seeing eye of Yahweh. Yeah. Yep. And there was some studies done on what is more important to humans, like in their opinion, food or water. So they let people starve. They did a study on starving people where they've made people fast for a good amount of time and go without drinking water, and they did this repeatedly. Which one did they go to? Most people went to the water, even though they were very, very hungry. The water, they had to choose. They chose the water, which makes sense because you're going to die in 3 or 4 days if you don't drink water. Yep. I don't know if y'all know who Christopher McCandless is. You may or may not know who that is. Christopher McCandless. This guy grew up in Northern Virginia. He decided that he was going to reject everything about society, and he went off and just started. He sold his car. He gave his money away, and he went on this sojourn, I guess, like this walk about the country. And they made a movie about him called Into the Wild. I believe there's some controversy about when they found. Hey, spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! When he died, so he does die. But when they found his body, there was some confusion about whether he maybe ate a plant that didn't allow him to digest calories. I find that unlikely. It's probably more likely that he was living off of like squirrels and rabbits. Like snowshoe hares up there, and got protein poisoning because you can't just eat lean protein all the time. You need fats. The Eskimos and stuff up there, they use seal fat, and they save moose fat and stuff so that they have fat in their meats because they would otherwise get protein poisoning. Yeah, that sounds right, Mike. I've never heard it said like that, but yeah, that's about right. After 3 or 4 minutes without air, your brain starts to incur damage. Though there is one scenario, if I can be storytelling Calvin right now, again, I love to tell stories. There was a guy in Iowa who was riding on a snowmobile, which is really big in Minnesota and Iowa and Wisconsin, probably in the other like western northern states too. But snowmobiling, they don't go four-wheeling. It's not mud bogging. It's snowmobiling. Very serious sport there. I don't know if you all know this, but you can take a snowmobile over open water as long as you don't lay off of the accelerator. You have to hold on the accelerator. So he was with a group of other guys, and they were going over this lake, and a bunch of them went straight over the open water, but he let off the gas, and so he sank like a rock down to the bottom. It was about like 20 or 30 feet to the bottom of this lake. Obviously the winter time, and it's frozen. It took like 30 minutes to get him out of the water. They fished him out of there. I think it was something like 28. That's actually amazing that they had first responders there this fast, but I think he was under the water for 28 minutes. He has the record for longest time underwater at surviving by any human being on record. I mean, obviously it could have happened again. It's what I'm getting to actually, is that the combination of hypothermia, the hypothermia actually saved him. The hypothermia slowed his heartbeat down, shut down all the other limbs, and allowed him to survive basically like a whale's heartbeat. His heart slowed down, and they put him on a heart-lung machine. All right, take care, Mike. Mike says he's got to get out of here. See you later, Mike. Take care. I probably will start streaming on Thursdays next week, so anytime Monday through Thursday, 5 o'clock. Take care. Take care of yourself. Hug somebody. It's all the same stuff I say every day. Come back and see us. Pretty sure you will. But hope you will. So they put him on a heart-lung machine, and what that does is allow it. It's basically blood transfusion. So you're on someone else's blood. The blood goes through this machine that tunes it to a specific temperature, and what they did was gradually turn the temperature up, and they brought his temperature back out of hypothermia, and he woke up. I don't have any packages. Do I, Daniel? See, I have it set so I don't know when the packages come. Then he dies. But yeah, you know, it's Vance's fault. He had that look. Was it just like how long after him visiting did the Pope die? I didn't realize it was right after it. He put some what you call it, nerve agent on the Pope when he met him. When he shook his hand, he slapped some nerve agent on there. What do they call, the Russians call that stuff? Basically, it's organophosphate poisons. So, somebody clarify for me. Did J.D. Vance visit the Pope and then he died like right after, like it was a day after? Because I thought that was just a random picture of him with the Pope. Hey, Robert G. Welcome, Robert G. Friend of the program. Been a while, buddy. How you? We're talking about all kinds of things right now, man. Just it's like a whip around of every type of subject here. This is very short of that line, so I'm gonna have to take more meat off of here. Even on my side, it's still. I'm glad I cut it short, though. That's probably better. Oh, you did? Uh-oh. You better check the mailbox. It's me like Mr. Rogers, man. Love you too, man. Take care. We'll see you when you come back next. I'm gonna try to. I won't do Thursday tomorrow, but I'm gonna try to start doing Thursdays next week, even if folks can't make it. I understand. Ruiz, take care. Have a good night. Daniel, if it is here, do you want me to wait till the next live because people are rolling out? You want me to wait until Monday? I can wait to open it. It might kill me, but I might die with anticipation. But I would love to, I'll open it now too if you want. Definitely would grab some randos' attention, probably. Oh, it's fine. It's whatever you guys want. It was your gift, and I want to give it proper appreciation, you know. So we can wait, or we can open it today. Hey. Looks like a comic book. Well, I hope they didn't break it. And here we have it. Oh, so you can wait though. You want to wait? Here it is. So the final answer is wait till next time. Because it'll give me something to do. I'm psyched. I should be able to figure this out. It has a definite shape to it. I hope they didn't break it. Whatever it is. Nah, I still don't know though. I don't know. It has a definite shape, and I won't go through my list to figure it out. Thank you, though. Thank you. Thank you. We are very appreciative of your support, Daniel. We don't take it for granted. Okay? Just want you to know that. I try to tell all the people in my life I appreciate that as much as I can. I get a little bit corny with it, but like I appreciate everybody, you know. Heather, you guys, my kids, my parents, God forbid. Nah, it's still okay. Can't go any lower than that there, though. Oh, no, I'm okay, Chardonnay. I can make it. I want to know what it is, but I know how important it is to open these things on the live stream. Like, it's big, so we can open it. It's kind of a slow day today. It probably wouldn't hurt to wait, but it's up to Daniel. Is he still there? Oh, he's saying my decision. Oh, if it's my decision, I might actually wait because I want to open it up on a live stream that has some people here. So if you're new to the program, make sure that you subscribe to Dad's Workshop, where next time we will open up this package from Daniel. Check out my Amazon wish list if you're a person of means or a person who likes to help. We like to do good things around here, send out good karma. So I'm going to open this package on my next live stream. That will be Monday, and we'll see what's in there. And I will not open it until then, and I will exercise patience. True virtue, especially something we have to have in woodwork also. As I chisel a little too deep down, you know. If you think you're taking up a little too much and it's kind of flat but not all the way, turn the chisel over, lay it at the angle of the bevel, and that way you won't take as much material out. So like if I was to turn this chisel like this, I'm gonna angle, it's angled down. Look at the bevel. It's gonna take too much material. I can't see what I'm not even close to that cut line there, so I can actually do that here. See? It's going to actually keep getting deeper, so I got to be careful. It's not going straight. Yeah, Daniel, I'm going to wait till next live stream, and it'll be something to look forward to, you know. But thank you. It's really cool. We'll make a big deal of it. Yep, official unboxing. How much you want to bet that guy who asked to be a mod today was like the same guy who was the cat guy, right? Like something tells me it's the same guy. Because he always has these kind of not very clever names, you know? Oh, was it? Dang. How many subscribers did he have, Heather? I'll DM him or something. We'll try to keep the relationship going. I mean, I just can't make, I have you and I can't just, because like you, my first instinct is this guy's gonna mess around being a mod. We don't really need that. I could use him as a viewer though. Inlays and cabinet maker stuff. Yeah. I'm gonna check his stuff out though. There's a knot around here somewhere. Yeah, no, and that's fine. That's what I would do. I wouldn't offer him that. I just would like to, kind of like lasso him back here. Bring him back here. He was interested. If we can get him back here again, he's kind of a person you want to have around. It was obviously a genuine gesture, but because we had so few viewers at the time that he did it, he was probably like, man, this channel needs me. But and maybe we do. I don't know, but. It's not like that all the time. It's been slow the last couple of days. Must have something to do with the Pope or something. Something's going on with YouTube's algorithm, or just people's online usage is a little down. Because I've done more boring stuff, on my stream and had tons more people. Yeah, no, it does look good. No idea. Kind of puzzling what's going on. But I can't think into it. All I do is I got to make decisions like, hey, maybe next week we start going Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It used to only be Monday, Tuesday too, right? So we expanded. It helped. We'll expand again. A little more work, but that's okay. It actually will help me get the bed done a little sooner. It's going to take so much time anyway because it's a handmade bed, but literally a lot of it is made by hand joints. So how do you speed that up a whole lot? You can't. This is the truth about woodworking. It's not fast. That's what Haint used to say. Man, shout out to Haint wherever he is. Haint used to talk about that. As one of the comments he left on my thing was that, like, I'm not the most experienced woodworker on YouTube. There's no doubt about that. I don't have, but I do show what the process is the right way, and that's all these other channels, all the editing, and they're so perfect. Everything's perfect. Everything's DIY. They're not really looking deeper to see why people might watch the channel, because most people, the DIY videos they watch, they never do it. Why else would be the reason they would watch it? Why do people watch golf? People watch golf. Sometimes they watch it because it relaxes them to take a nap. They don't necessarily like golf, but they put it on because now I know I can sleep. Something about the sounds or the soft talk or the environment of the green grass and stuff, it puts people to sleep, which is not a bad thing. We were kind of talking about this earlier. Being lulled to sleep is kind of a sign that you're comfortable. Meditation people, I've had counselors and people who try to teach me meditation. One of the things they taught me is if you fall asleep doing one-to-one breathing, that's just a sign that your one-to-one breathing is good. Yeah, half lap. We did those on every bedboard is put in with one of those, I believe, unless they call that a dado. Actually, every stick-built building has half laps on the corners because they're double top plated. So like whenever somebody builds a stick-built building, they actually have a lap over, because when they put the double top plate helps make it more secure. So it's like basically like this right here. It's two 2x4s, but they're offset on the ends so that they lap over the corner. You probably know this already. they lap over the corner of the other side of the building. It's the way that people, standard stud framing, you know, standard construction. So lap joints are still in butt joints, which are the worst. But you know, you add enough nails and you put enough rigidity and enough redundancy in. That's the reason stick building is reliable and it works. It's, you know, easy to do. So it's used because it's safe, and you know, you use enough nails and stuff, and stuff sticks together. That's how it works. Nail plates. I can't even. Nail plates always puzzle me, man. How they bear weight like they do. My folks got this garage building built by their trusted carpenter, and the whole roof is put together with nail plates. And I'm like looking at these things, like, these things bear this weight? Like, there's a lot on these nail plates. It's surprising to me, man, but I guess, you know, they know, the engineers have worked it out, so I guess it works. You know, he's a licensed guy, so. Yeah. I gotta laminate a couple boards here, so when I finish this here in a second, and it needs some fine work too. It's gonna need more chiseling than this, but I'm gonna throw some boards up here and quickly laminate those, so I don't forget to do that for the next live. And it's okay if they sit for a couple days. I'll probably be out here working every day anyways. Which reminds me that you guys can contact us on any of the social media platforms. You know, make sure if you're new to the channel, you subscribe, click that like button, click the bell. You know, drop a line in the chat. Tried using the chisel, tried the miter saw slits. Daniel, what problems are you having with the lap joints? Are they not lining up? I'm going to provide some value if I can, Daniel, for this, because there is something I can tell you that might help with your half laps. But I have to kind of draw it up or show you using one of my lap joints that I have here. It's a basic principle in woodwork, and that is when we make a joint, the joint that receives, let's say the female part of the joint, we want that to be cut in beyond the line so that we can pair out to the line, right? We start with it too small, and then when we make the male section, we start with the male section too big, so that way we can pare them down so that they fit, right? It's a little frustrating if you haven't done woodwork before, but it's standard procedure. That way the joint fits tightly, right? So when we do dovetails, we're making the pin side, which is the side that the side of the dovetail that looks, see if I can write on this. It's kind of small. When we're making the pin side of the dovetail, which is the side of the dovetail that has the dovetail shape, that dovetail like this, right? The pin side, we're going to cut outside this line. And this is the reason I'm saying this is because we're talking about dados, right? And them not fitting. The tail, which is going to receive this, which is going to look more like this. This is just a rough drawing. It's going to look like this. This part, we're going to cut inside this line, right? We're going to cut right here instead of outside. That way, when we put this into this one's a little too big, the pin's a little too big, the tail is a little too small, and we can pair it from there. If we're cutting joints by hand, that's going to be, and it's the same thing with a dado. So if I have a square end right here, and this is the pin that's going in. I don't know if you're taking an entire board and doing this, or if it's a lap joint. We want to make sure that whatever is receiving that, I'm going to make a dotted line here as the receiving line, right? This receiving line must be smaller, right? We want this to be slightly smaller, so we're going to cut inside these lines here when we're making the dado or the lap joint. Now, if this is a 2x4, we can't cut. It's already cut in place, like on my bed up here. But the receiving side, or the pocket, the mortise needs to be cut slightly smaller. So start with it like that. Go really slow. And I have to get a little, put it on the Discord so I know exactly what you're doing. Oh, okay. With the dado blade. Yeah, I don't do a lot of table saw stuff. I only ever had like a super cheap table saw, so whenever I did that, I was borrowing table saws. Like when I did my fine work, I made these I was talking about it yesterday. I made these air purification cabinets. All of the plywood was maple plywood, and I cut it in someone else's table saw that had a straight edge jig in it. It had a sled, so I didn't have that problem. Maybe I would have to see to know what you're talking about, and of course, I'm not an expert on everything, but it may be that you have to build a jig for it. Some kind of a sled. I'm well shy of the cut line on both sides, but it's okay. Kind of like what I was just talking about. I can pare it down some. And my Apple Watch thinks I'm washing my hands. So I did it. I washed my hands for 20 seconds. Another thing about this thing. But definitely, Daniel, drop a picture of the of what you're trying to do, or like describe it in the Discord, because I would love to like spend some time looking it up. I can't picture in my head what you mean by dado blade. You must mean that you have a special blade for your table saw that's I don't know, angled in a certain way. Usually table saws, you can adjust the angle of the blade to make miter type cuts, or whatever. And sometimes in a quarter saw way, like in a weird angle towards like someone taking the edge of this, and they want to cut across this edge here, which is not something you generally do with a bandsaw. It's too tall. So I would like to know what you're talking about, if anything, for my own knowledge too. Yeah. Oh, I think I know what he's talking about. So he's like, you're passing a piece of wood through like this, right? On the end, the table saw blade is set down like this, and you're running it through. I've seen, you know, multiple videos of this. I guess you're passing it through crosscut wise, and you're trying to cut a dado on the side of it. I wish I had a piece of wood cut it with a dado over here that's available. These are all basically lap joints. Um, yeah, I think probably Robert G does know the answer to this. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's, you know, when Robert said the answer to it, then I pictured it in my head. You taking a board and running it through a table saw, crosscut wise, multiple times, and I think I know. I think that's what you're probably talking about. We do a lot of, you know, I do a lot of hand tool stuff here, so I don't talk much tooling with, uh, you know, machines like that. But yeah, yeah. So it has a wide kerf, right? So you account for that kerf being the width of the blade by making sure you don't cut all the way to the line on your piece, so, or wherever your layout marks are on your work piece. So you're cutting inside that line because the kerf of your table saws do have a wide kerf on them. It's not like my hand saw where it's very thin kerf, or a band saw where the kerf is thin also, right? So you have to account for the kerf or the width of the blade, taking out a certain amount of waste. Yeah. So I think probably that helps me. Robert G's answer almost helps me understand what's going on here. Robert G's a tool guy, so. 3/4 inch deep. That's what we have here actually. So on this tenon here, we have 3/4 inches of cut that's coming off, 3/4 inches of material that's coming off. I could take this piece and run it if I had a table saw through the end of a table saw over and over, and then your fence just gets moved, right? So you're just moving your fence or whatever jig you have and making sure that you don't cut it past a certain point. Yeah, I mean, I like to make the jobs easier too, but I also have a live stream to do, and they don't like power tools too much on these. You guys do, but when I put them on, they scare people away. Not that I have a lot anyway. I just have my band saw, I have my beam saw, and my circular saws and jigsaw. I had a table saw, but it was cheap, and I didn't care for it too much. And threw a lot of stuff in the air. I think I still have it. It's at my dad's place. I just would never bring it here. Cheap piece of crap. Yeah, so this is what I thought it was. Yeah. Yeah, so there's a you're gonna have, I gotta see the direction that the piece of where what the dado cut looks like, where it's positioned and on the joint is positioned, and then you basically, it's just kind of problem solving. Like you got to get the depth of the cut right because you want to run the whole piece over it. So you set your blade to your depth, and then you're just running the piece over. But you still have to chisel some stuff away sometimes, man. Like that's why a hand tool comes into play, because like if you watch YouTube videos on these guys doing this, and I've seen a few recently of guys cutting with a table saw, dado or lap joints, when they get, you know, they've gone through this thing a number of times, it's still a whole bunch of wood just sliced like this. So they have to take a chisel and bang it in there to knock that stuff out. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and I've cut dovetails for beds with the bandsaw, standing back like 8 feet from the bandsaw, and just like trusting that I'm cutting on the line. So I just start outside. But you know, generally, I find that if I cut them by hand, they turn out better. Or if I use a jigsaw, just cut outside the line. Jigsaw is a little easier for that application. I definitely could use that a nice table saw with this job and a jig to do dados, because it basically acts like a router. I mean, a lot of tools, you're just doing something that another tool could do. It's just which tool you prefer and which one makes it seem easier to you, or which one makes it easier, you know? Uh, what you're talking about could probably be done with a router set with a router fence, you know, uh, as well. Yeah. Um, no, I don't think it does. I don't think it changes anything. Chardonnay asked, does being a left-handed person change anything as a woodworker? I don't think so. I think everything is pretty much ambidextrous. You know, if I'm left-handed, I'm going to hold the chisel like this. My left hand is going to be the pushing hand. So my guide hand here is my right hand, and I can actually chisel that way. It doesn't feel super comfortable to me, but especially if I'm being gentle, sometimes chiseling from the left is better. But since I'm right-handed, my left hand acts as the guide here when I'm using this hand tool here. If I'm using a chisel with a mallet, my right hand is the mallet hand, right? So if I'm left-handed, yeah, right here I would have this board set up the opposite way, but it would still be the same technique. Your mom left-handed? I didn't know that. Chardonnay, you left-handed? Oh my gosh! Thank you for you left-handed what? What was that word? Glad you didn't get one letter the other direction. Because even if it's misspelled, everybody would have blown up for that one there. Left-handed. What? Uh-oh. Oh, luckily, see that went down. That's why you got that cut line, because that one almost blew out. But because I had that there, that stop cut, it did not. That's where it needs to be, basically. All right, now let's take the framing chisel and go over this real quick. Because pushing my whole workbench. Now, framing chisels are designed to be pushed, not malleted. I know you all see me hit them with the mallets. That's not really official, proper technique. It's me just doing what I feel like. Framing chisels are meant to be pushed. And generally the weight of the tool gets it done. This is looking really nice. And being a little bit oversized is okay. I can trim it down and tear some off if I need to. Once I cut the mortise for it. But generally I'm trying to get them as exact as possible so it can theoretically slide in the first time, you know. And these framing chisels get a nice smooth surface, almost as if they're a plane, you know, if they're sharp, of course. About right there. I don't want to take it any further than that. Let's just get this end stuff off here. Well, this is my last one of these 2x4 ones. Then I got to make another one of the large ones that you saw. So 4. And this is my third one that I'm on right now, I think. So I got one more of these to make like this, and then I got to cut the mortises. And all of this is documented on my last set of lives too, because I did the whole process before on live also. So I mean, if someone was to pour through the hours of that footage, they would find all of this stuff done previous. But the novel part of it is that I didn't have any plans. I was like just going off of rough dimensions and then basics of construction. So as boring as it may seem, once we get it put together, it's pretty amazing how it all works, and I don't have a single nail in there, Chardonnay. So, you know, doing this stuff with only joinery is quite an achievement, if I do say so. And I'm quite proud of my design. So it's going to get put into a book, and I'm sure at some point in the future somebody will use it who wants to build a bed by hand and with hand tools. Yeah, so let me put these chisels up. Let me pull another couple beams up here and laminate them real quick, or glue them up. Daniel's package to open on the next live. I actually have to do the other side of this beam too, so I'm not completely done with this beam either. It is a lot of repetition, you know. See, that's actually a pretty clean joint. You see the cut line there. It needs to be adjusted a little bit, but this one will be worked on again tomorrow. I'm going to take 2 of the shorter 2x4s to do my next beam, because that only needs to be, actually I might be able to get two posts out of one group of 2. Definite English to that board there. Yeah, they can go to Amazon to get bunk beds. Even cheap bunk beds are expensive. But yeah, you can get a cheap. The reason I started building beds is because I got a bed and I noticed how poor the construction of this king size bed was. I made a resolution that I was going to build a king size bed that can support itself, because these king size beds you get from a furniture store, I'll name a random cheap furniture store like Schul's, for example, will charge you $1,500 for a king size bed made out of particle board, and then in the middle of the bed is this tiny little leg, an inch in width, right? Inch in diameter, and that's supposed to hold the stresses of the bed up, and they always break. And so then the center of the bed sinks down, right? Because it doesn't have any real support from side to side. So people think 2x4s are cheap. Dude, if they're so cheap, then why don't the people who make our beds use them? They're too expensive. That's the answer. IKEA doesn't want to use real lumber because it's too expensive. So they use that crappy paper particle board that they use. And Schul's and those companies, they make these beds. They're just crap. I mean, they are actually crap. So yeah, that's exactly why we do this. Is for the quality of a handmade product. And in this case, we're using construction lumber that's not furniture grade, but when you build a bunk bed, it's actually a construction, and also not just a piece of furniture, it's a piece of construction, because it has to hold someone on the top of it and endure racking stresses. It's not as simple as a bed that's 11 and a half inches off the ground. So when you build a bunk bed, theoretically, wouldn't you want to have construction style building, because you want it to hold and be safe? Kids are up there, right? So welcome to Dad's Workshop. If you're here, this is about the biggest number I've had tonight. Make sure you click the subscribe button, click the like button, drop a comment. Right now we're working on a bunk bed. The lag I got is way behind. I don't know where we are actually. We're going to take these two beams here and laminate them, or glue them up side to side together, so that we have posts. I don't have my tape measure here handy, but my posts are about 50 some inches in height. And I want to just make sure that I have, I probably won't get 2 posts out of this. So maybe I should go ahead and use the longer pieces for this. But I'm trying to make posts. I can stack them up next to them, pretty much that way. This won't make 2 posts. So I probably shouldn't glue these up together. These should probably be used as runners on the bed. I'm going to take these down. I got this Southern Yellow Pine, these longer spruce beams here. These are quite a bit longer. You can see this piece of spruce is really nice too, because look at the figure here. It's a conifer. When you're looking at conifers, you want them to have been grown slowly, and you can see the grains are close together here. So this is a really nice piece of spruce. All right, we got another piece, probably from the same forest. We're gonna glue these up. Very simple procedure here. Yeah, triple bunk bed. Laminated plywood. Yep. Sure enough, that's what you find out, man. It's laminated. It's not even real wood, like a laminated particle board. I want this imperfection on the end of this. There's some bark. I want that on the outside. Though I have bark here too. Let me line the bark sides up together. This this is 12-foot long boards, I think. So they're definitely long. Now, if I line these two bark spots up, then I can salvage the rest of the beams, because some of this is probably going to get cut off. I don't love that, that's for sure. Sorry. This is why I don't like that they wouldn't let me pick through the wood at the lumber yard. I usually take a lot of time to do it. Right now, I'm just applying a ton of glue. Not rocket science here. Yeah, do this so you can see it. Wow, my live stream is like, this is like 10 minutes behind me. Take a shim here and kind of spread this out. I kind of try to draw a balance between how much glue I use. You want it to be enough glue that it creates a good bond, but you also don't, with this stuff, it gets ugly if the glue sticks out of the joint too much. So I try to use just enough to make it structurally very strong, but not so much that there's a ton of squeeze out, because it's hard to get rid of that squeeze out. It's also hard on my planer. When I run it through a planer, planers they don't like glue, man. It's not the same thing as wood. All right, here we go. The rocket science part. And just put a ton of clamps on it, basically. I start from the ends to make sure the ends are straight, square with each other. These are going to be posts. Hopefully I'll be able to get 2 posts out of this. They're in the 50-inch something range. I got to actually measure my other ones to know for sure. And last time when I built the bed, I glued up the posts and carved all the mortises in the posts, and then found that the posts were not plumb. So that, I'm not making that mistake again. I'm going to know whether they're plumb after they set. I have no idea what's going on because my feed of this live stream is like 10 minutes ago. So hopefully you all are still there while I finish this last bit. I like a shim for the outside of this room. This is missing the rubber piece here, so I want to use a shim to keep it from denting the mess out of this post. I did it. We'll see if it skips to live here. Sorry, folks. Let me see here. Okay, good. Yeah. All right, we are straight here. Thought I had more likes than that. Did people come and like unlike? So weird. Probably one of the people we told couldn't be a mod, or the turtle kid. I mean the cat person. You can't see me, but I'm putting a clamp down here on this end. Rule number 2 for woodworking is you can't have too many clamps. I know Chardonnay hates them, but for this application, you want to have tons and tons of clamps. The turtle kid. Turtle. My turtle's sick. Ferret is sick. Ferrets are cute though, I'm not gonna lie. All right, so now I'm gonna take a rag and wipe off these squeeze out spots, including the ones on my bench. I got plenty of clamps on here. I could put probably more on here. I think maybe part of the reason I ended up with so much English in my boards last time was I clamped them down unevenly. So I haven't looked it up, so it's possible that's completely BS, you know. But I just felt like maybe I clamped them unevenly. I used my pipe clamps too, so I applied a lot of torque to them, which is good in general. But maybe with these kind of softwoods, you could probably do too much of that. So even clamping probably is what you want. Squeeze out's good. You want to have squeeze out because that means you're making good contact and you got enough glue, right? I don't mind taking like that much glue off with the planer, but like you're running through a surface planer, it's not good for the blade in there to go over glue spots. All right, that's pretty good. Let's move this out of here. It's gonna be tricky. Bear with me. Sound, I just made one wrong turn. All right. Clean these glue spots off my work surface here. And, oh yeah, I know that. So let me shout out everybody who came in today. Didn't see J&J today. Shout out Chardonnay, Daniel. Shout out Ruiz. Shout out Robert G. Shout out to what's his name, who came in and asked to be a mod. Shout out to that guy. Let me go through my regular fans though. Shout out Mike is making stuff. Shout out Ruiz. Shout out Robert G. Shout out Chardonnay, all friends of the program. Shout out Daniel Gandara. We're gonna unbox your piece next time on live, and then it looks like that's all I can see here. But that other guy, nice guy, woodworking DIY guy, seems like a nice guy. So everybody take care. Love y'all. See you on Monday. Probably do Monday through Thursday next week. No stress if you can't make it. I am taking attendance though, so don't try to be my friend and not show up. It hurts my feelings. And I will see you all on Monday. Everybody do the next right thing. Hug somebody you love. Take care.